When an African intends or they are doing something in Africa, for Africa, can we support them equally or even more, because we are to celebrate our own even more than people that come from outside of the continent? Let me explain what I mean. Hi, Sam here. This video might, I repeat, might be a little bit controversial. And the reason that I had to put that out there first is because there are different kinds of people on the internet, and even when you clearly explain certain things in good intention or with good intention, some people will intentionally, for their own whatever reasons, they would intentionally misconstrue what one is saying. So that is why I said that it might be, it shouldn't be, and I'll get to what that is. So this video is about the support that iShowSpeed is getting in Africa, and I'm loving it for him, from South Africa to Botswana, Eswatini, he's been to Zimbabwe, Zambia, and as at the time of recording this video, he was in Kenya, and I joined the IRL when he was, right in Kenya, Nairobi specifically, and how, the Ministry of Tourism welcomed him, they flew him in a helicopter over Nairobi, the beautiful conservations and all of that across the city, or within the city, The point is, he had a beautiful reception in Kenya. He had a beautiful reception in Kenya, and he said it himself. And one of his highlights also in whilst they were still flying, he clocked 48 million subscribers, and was celebrating that jokingly before jokingly the countdown to the 48 million subscribers. He was telling the crew that they should go back because he would love to do his iconic backflip when it gets to 48 million subscribers. But obviously, that didn't happen, basically, because obviously of flight procedures and all of that. So again, he loved it. He's so appreciative of the kind of reception that he specifically enjoyed and received in Kenya. And again, I'm loving all of that for him and all the beautiful people that have supported him and are supporting him in Africa. Side note, what iShowSpeed is doing in Africa and how he is in real time, streaming his experience, to the world, and people across the globe are seeing Africa and how beautiful it is and how beautiful the people is and all of that. So that's a plus, that's something that is worth celebrating. As Africans, a global, streamer coming into the continent and showcasing how beautiful our continent is, and more specifically our people. I mean, he has never received such reception, anywhere that he has been, any country, any country or continent that he has been. Even his fellow Americans are, speaking to that reception and all of that. So again, I am building up to my point, and I'm putting this forward, and I'm taking my time to say all of these great things that surround iShowSpeed's presence. That was a lot. Excuse me. iShowSpeed's presence and experience in Africa. I'm loving it. If you can do it, once every year, that would be great. But I know that is not possible. There are other continents, there are other countries that you must go and experience also. But maybe every 5 years, maybe every 5 years it comes in and touch all other African countries that it might not be able to do in this installment. I love iShowSpeed. I love him. I love his content. I love what he's doing. That's about iShowSpeed. Let me go to MrBeast very quickly. He recently announced and even did a content that is going to be building a village in Ghana. So all these big influencers, content creators, streamers, and highly followed people across the globe are coming into Africa. And here's the point: they are getting support from fellow Africans, either the government institutions or corporate organizations or agencies that are interested. These people are coming into the continent and they are getting support, true support, that is helping them to navigate, whatever it is that they need to in the continent. We are making the experience seamless for them. I will repeat that. We're making the experience of these people seamless for them. I am loving it for them. I am loving it for Africa because, it's a mutually beneficial transaction, I'm taking my time on what I'm about to say next, because this is where some might take what I'm about to say otherwise. And here it is. When an African intends or they are doing something in Africa, for Africa, can we support them equally or even more, because we are to celebrate our own even more than people that come, from outside of the continent? Let me explain what I mean. Let's start from visa applications. Visa applications, I said, because as a South African, if you have to go from one nation to another in the continent, I know, even the visa process and applications would have, destroyed your motivation or your energy, to before you even start the journey of whatever it is that you want to do, cross country, across the continent. That's number one. Number two, so I say it's African, even, you're Ghanaian and you want to move across the continent, visa applications and visa applications and visa applications, delays upon delays and all of that. So that's why I was saying that we have made the experience for the likes of iShowSpeed, your MrBeast, and all these other, content creators that are coming, from outside the continent. We are making and we have made the experience to be seamless for them. We have made the experience to be seamless for them. When are we going to start making the experience seamless for fellow Africans that want to do things across the continent? I'm a Nigerian, I live in South Africa, and yeah, I don't want to go there. Let's go to the likes of Mr. Ghana Baby, Wode. For more than a decade now, if not almost, a decade, this guy has been promoting Africa for Africans and for the diaspora, and obviously for the global audience. And it has been at this space of creating content that is, showing the positive side of the continent. It would go from one country to another. It has been to multiple countries in the continent, different episode upon episode, different angles, either is the cultural, the social, the economic. It would go to small businesses, it would go to, government agencies and all of that. To show that Africa is great, and you can add to all the good things about Africa. However, I've listened to him, I've followed him that long. He would always, and I mean always, go check any of his videos or most of his videos or some of the videos that he would dedicate to this issue of visa applications and border movement and all of that, and prejudice, discrimination. Imagine a black person discriminating against a black person on a black land. Imagine. So the experience is not seamless for Africans that want to move across the continent. It's not. And I'm using the visa application as an example of many, because that's where it starts from. That's where it starts from. Another content creator is Aina. Go watch some of his early days content, when he was still moving very much so across the continent, before he got the new passport that he has that he can use to move around the globe. I mean, Africans beyond content creators, because the content creators are the ones that move a lot and showcase their movement and all of that. Even for business people, they can go from one country to another country in the continent seamlessly. What about the flight? What about flight? You want to go to Egypt. If you can't get Egypt Air directly from your country, from your African country, departing country, you probably would take Emirates. Let's use Emirates as an example. Then you would have to go outside of the continent, you know, have a stopover in Dubai before you can come back to Cairo. Crazy, right? Crazy. Imagine a direct flight from Johannesburg to Cairo that should take you probably 8 hours, you know, thereabouts. I've used Egypt Air once, you know. In fact, it was the last flight that I used the last time I went to Nigeria. It was the flight that I used the last time I went to Nigeria. So yeah, if my memory serves me well, 8 hours thereabouts, Johannesburg to Cairo. Imagine that direct flight, but because there might be none sometimes, or there is issue or whatever, and I'm using this one as an example again, then you have to use, excuse me, your Emirates, your Qatar Airways, you know, or maybe even France Air. Imagine going to Cairo from Johannesburg and you have to go via Paris. Crazy, crazy, crazy. If you have a business meeting, you probably would miss it. If you don't miss it, by the time you get to your destination, you're tired, you know, and the list goes on. So this video is about calling out African governments, corporate organizations in the continent, different agencies, relevant agencies when it comes to tourism, when it comes to African experience, entertainment, you know, logistics, and talk about logistics. Maybe another video for that one. I'm calling on all these people and agencies to say, let's make moving across the continent seamless for the owners of the continent, the Africans. If we can make this experience seamless. And of course, you can talk about different factors that contribute to the seamless experience of all these people that are coming from outside the continent. But, you know, it is also our responsibility to make that happen. If it's about passport, if it's about visa, it's about whatever, let's make this experience of moving across the continent easier for Africans. Imagine as a parent, you have challenges, whatever those are, and you have expressed those challenges to your family members, your wife, children. They know that daddy is quote unquote struggling for one reason or the other, and the kind of food that these children eat, you know, maybe most nights, pap and spinach, mostly. And then you have a visitor, different visitors. Let me put it like that. Different visitors would come visit daddy. And every time they come, they are served steak. Every time. Even when different visitors, come different nights consecutively, they are served steak. Whilst the visitor is around or when they would have left, the children are left to eat pap and spinach. What kind of a father are you? What kind of a parent? What kind of a parent are you? That's exactly the issue with making travel experience and any other kind of experience seamless for people that are coming from outside the continent, and how difficult it is for an African child to move across the continent. It's sad. It's very sad. Very, very sad. I hope this video sends a message where some of these policies and aspirations that we have for the continent, that we start implementing them, and some of the things that we need to move very fast on, that we begin to do so. So that as an African, either for business or for leisure or for whatever the case is, we can move across this beautiful continent seamlessly and have a great experience as foreigners. Permit me, I'm using that word loosely. Same way it's seamless for foreigners, that Africans also can have a great experience across the continent. Once again, iShowSpeed, thank you for coming to Africa. Thank you for showing the globe how beautiful this continent is, and for all the people and the institutions that have been supporting or that are supporting iShowSpeed across the continent. Thank you. And thank you for watching this video. And I'll see you in the next one. Please subscribe. God bless you.